They say you're too different, too complicated, too much for this world. You speak, and the air feels heavy, not because you're wrong, but because your words challenge the norm. You notice patterns others ignore, you question beliefs others cling to, and gradually the space between you and everyone else widens. Conversations seem shallow, jokes fall flat, and you're left feeling like a wanderer among settlers. You try to adapt, you mimic their smiles, their casual chatter, but inside, it feels like you're performing. Slowly. A question forms in your mind. Is it me? Is there something wrong with the way I see the world? But maybe the truth isn't about wrong or right. Maybe society isn't designed for those who think deeply, for those who feel profoundly, and this is not a new realization. Thinkers like Nietzsche, Kierkegaard, and Simone Weil all grappled with this disconnection, this existential loneliness. They understood that to see the world as it truly is often means to walk a solitary path. In this video, we're going to explore why deep thinkers and highly observant individuals often feel out of place in society. We'll uncover the hidden costs of intelligence, the emotional toll of sensitivity, and the paradox of a world that celebrates brilliance but punishes those who possess it in its truest form. It begins early. Imagine yourself in a classroom, surrounded by peers who seem carefree and content. Yet for you, there's an unshakable sense of being off, not better or worse, just different. While others laugh at silly jokes or lose themselves in fleeting trends, you're preoccupied with questions. Why do people conform so easily? Why do societal rules often contradict logic? And why does it feel like the search for truth alienates you from those around you? This is the first taste of the silent burden that accompanies depth. It's not about intelligence as measured by tests or grades. It's about perceiving layers of reality that most people overlook. It's about sensing the unspoken tension in a room, noticing the cracks in someone's mask, and feeling the weight of unasked questions. As you grow older, this awareness sharpens. Social interactions become less about connection and more about navigating a minefield of expectations. You learn to bite your tongue, to suppress the urge to ask uncomfortable questions, because experience has taught you that authenticity often meets resistance. People misinterpret your curiosity as criticism, your passion as arrogance, your silence as indifference. Here lies the paradox. Society claims to value intelligence, creativity, and innovation. Yet, when these qualities manifest in ways that challenge the status quo, they are often met with discomfort, even hostility. The world celebrates genius in hindsight but resents it in real time. Why? Because true intelligence doesn't just solve problems, it exposes them. It forces people to confront contradictions, to question long-held beliefs, and to step outside their comfort zones. And that's something most people instinctively avoid. Let's consider an example. Think about how society handles dissent in the workplace. We say we value out-of-the-box thinking, but when someone points out flaws in the system or proposes radical ideas, they're often dismissed as troublemakers. The same dynamic plays out in schools. A child who challenges authority or questions the curriculum isn't seen as curious, they're labeled disruptive. Even in social settings, complexity is often unwelcome. People prefer simplicity, predictability, and affirmation over nuance and introspection. This rejection isn't always intentional. It's rooted in human psychology. People crave stability and belonging. When someone's perspective disrupts the group's harmony, they become a threat, not because they're wrong, but because they're different. This is what thinkers like Carl Jung described as the shadow, the parts of ourselves and society that we prefer to ignore because they challenge our self-image. For those who see through the illusions, this creates a profound sense of isolation. You may find yourself withdrawing, not out of pride but out of exhaustion. You long for conversations that matter, for relationships built on mutual understanding, but those connections are rare, so you adapt, you wear a mask. You downplay your insights, you pretend to care about things you find trivial. And in doing so, you feel like you're losing a part of yourself. But what if this loneliness isn't a flaw? What if it's a sign of something deeper? Philosophers like Hannah Arendt and Albert Camus argued that the search for meaning often sets individuals apart from the crowd. To question life's purpose, to wrestle with existential dilemmas, is to step outside the collective narrative, and that's a lonely place to be, but it's also where growth happens. Consider the story of Galileo. When he challenged the geocentric model of the universe, he wasn't celebrated, he was ostracized, ridiculed, and silenced. Yet his willingness to see beyond the accepted truth changed the course of history. This pattern repeats across time. The artists, scientists, and thinkers who dare to disrupt the norm often pay a heavy price during their lifetimes, but their ideas endure because they speak to something universal, the courage to think differently. This brings us to a critical question: how can you navigate a world that doesn't always welcome your perspective? The answer lies in finding balance. It's not about suppressing your intelligence or hiding your depth. It's about choosing when and where to share it. Not everyone will understand or appreciate your insights, and that's okay. What matters is finding those who do, the rare few who value authenticity over conformity. At the same time, it's important to cultivate resilience. The world may not always reward your honesty or curiosity, but that doesn't diminish their value. Remember that isolation isn't just a challenge, it's an opportunity. It gives you the space to reflect, to grow, and to create. Many of history's greatest contributions were born in solitude. In the end, the path of the deep thinker is both a burden and a gift. It's a journey marked by moments of profound loneliness, but also by glimpses of extraordinary clarity. To see the world as it is, to question its assumptions, and to strive for truth is a rare and courageous act. It's not easy, but it's worth it. So, if you've ever felt out of place, if you've ever wondered why the search for meaning seems to isolate you, know this: you're not alone. You're part of a lineage of thinkers, dreamers, and questioners who have shaped the world by daring to see it differently. Embrace the solitude, but don't let it define you. Seek collection, but never at the cost of your authenticity. And above all, keep questioning. Because in a world that often prefers comfort over truth, your voice matters more than ever.